And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford. It's Lakers weekend, everyone. A holiday weekend. Hopefully, you are having a terrific holiday season. Truly appreciate you joining us. Cannot thank you enough for doing so. But you got to go ahead and make sure as you go ahead through your Christmas ventures this holiday season, stop by Lakerholics.com. They have the great conversations, the great opinions from Laker Tom. Also, as well, of course, 5 things from Jamie Sweet, which you can catch here from time to time as well on the channel. But the best place to go to get all of that, plus the banter back and forth, is, of course, Lakerholics.com. But the guy behind a lot of that, as far as the mediator, the editor, the guy who looks over and oversees everything that goes on with Lakerholics.com, is a good man indeed. He is, of course, calling in from the islands, the beautiful islands, the best place to be this holiday season. It is, of course, Michael Heinrich. And Michael, aloha, my friend.
Aloha.
I'll tell you what, I'm giving you the best of Christmas gifts to you because you have no Jamie Sweet on the left, and you have no Laker Tom arguing with him on the right. You have no shouting back and forth. You have no middle fingers being displayed. You have no uh, being called stupid left and right. You have no sarcasm that gets everybody upset. So, and just wanted to give you the best of gifts this holiday season, my friend.
Thank you, Gerald. I appreciate that.
There you go. Because you spend a year with them on Lakerholics.com. So you try to get into the middle of these battles all year long and try to mediate. I sometimes call you the Switzerland of Lakerholics.com to try to mediate all these battles. But it's just so great to have you here. Of course, the other guys unfortunately couldn't make it in today, but I'll tell you what, still, Lakerholics are always greatly represented by Michael Heinrich. I do want to go ahead and mention we will be on later tonight for the Lakers post game. So go ahead and join us there. We'll go ahead and share our thoughts on the game between the Lakers and Clippers. The Lakers going in have to keep winning, Michael. Even in this holiday season, it doesn't stop because the Lakers find themselves 4th place after San Antonio won, causing them to fall to 4th place in the Western Conference, 19-7. Heading into the holiday season, your thoughts on where we stand? The road trip continues, although they got to sleep in their own bed, so that's kind of cool today as far as that's concerned. So it's always great when that's on the road trip. Facing an ailing Clippers team tonight that's really, well, to say they're struggling, to say the organization is not doing well is probably the major understatement of the day.
Yeah. You know, I don't know what's happened to the Clippers. I really don't. They have, well, part of the thing is they invested in age and they all got old and washed at the same time.
That they did.
In the same year, and it just, it does not, we have to be careful. We're going to be kind of shorthanded ourselves tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And they do get up for us. So I don't know the status of Harden. Have you heard if he's going to be available or not? Or
I have not heard yet about James
Harden. He's been out for a while.
Yeah, my guess is he might be magically feeling a lot better, but
that's usually the case.
Yes, they suddenly get healthy for the Lakers, but I've not seen. I'm looking on Twitter right now, and I don't see anything definitive as of yet for him. But of course, the Lakers. Like you said, they will be shorthanded tonight. I already retweeted out to everyone as far as the Lakers injury report. Please go ahead and follow me on Twitter because I do so before every game. Rui Hashimura, as of right now, has some right groin soreness, and he's questionable. But DeAndre Ayton, Austin Reeves, and Gabe Vincent are all out, which leaves a lot of firepower out for a team, Michael, that it was so reliant on the offensive end. I know that we've heard ad nauseum about the Lakers' inability as far as athleticism to match up with teams with athleticism. Their defense has been suspect. In fact, we just saw that in Utah, giving up 78 points after specifically working in 2 practices on the defensive end. That didn't come to fruition, but I will say this, the Lakers, they find ways to win, and that's what I like about this team so far. Even against the teams that they keep in the game because of their defense, such as the Utahs, the world, and what we've seen previously, they find in the second half this 3 to 5 minute stretch where they just focus in, they lock in, as the kids say, for that period of time. And that seems to be the difference in these games that they're winning so far, especially because on the road, they're 12-3, and that is nothing to sneeze at, Michael.
Yeah. Oh no. And to give Utah a little credit, they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league. If not, they were the highest scoring team. I don't know if they're still number one or not, but they're right up
right
there.
now it is Denver. Denver is the highest scoring team.
But I mean, they're right up there. So they score on everybody.
Yeah.
So it's not really that big of a disgrace to have the 78 points in the first half was a disgrace, but the second half they seemed to correct it, and they played a much better defensive second half. So, but you're right. Losing that kind of firepower in some ways is going to hurt us, and not having Aiden to go up against Zoo is not a good thing. Last time we played them, he did a really good job on Zoo. So, that's a concern as well. But the way the Clippers are playing, I think we can get by them. We give our reclamation project, Bando, some run. He's been really good the last 2 games, and you're watching him play now, and it's kind of like, what the hell? Where was he when our defense was just getting stomped? Because he's been really good. So, he just, getting 6, 7, 8 rebounds in, 15 minutes of run, that's pretty impressive. So, so that's going to help. I mean, he have him available and Marcus Smart available gives us a little more defensive presence, so Luka, and we're going to have to see a good scoring game from LeBron again. He scored the ball well last game, and we're going to have to see that again, because what we were doing before LeBron came back, it was Luka and Austin, filling up the scoring. Now that Austin's out, LeBron has to step into that Austin kind of spot, and he has to get 28, 30 points. And I think we'll be okay then. It's going to be tough if Rui's not there, because that really gives us a shallow front line if he's not able to go either.
I can hear the Grinch, Jamie Sweet, in the back of my head right now, telling me it's a trap game. Mr. Admiral Akbar, as it were, he's telling me it's a trap game, Michael. So
well, it could be. It's one of those games where, we're depleted, especially if Rui's not available. Ayton and Rui not available, that depletes our front line against a team that has a pretty big, has some big guys there. So, it could be a trap game.
But there are no excuses. I mean, they've won 6 games. They just got pummeled by OKC. I don't care if they're playing in the Intuit Dome. You have got to go ahead and beat these 6 wins.
You have to
anytime you can.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I do want to go ahead. Oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it reminds me of last night. OKC lost again to the Grizz.
Yes, they're reeling right now. Yes, I feel oh so bad for the team that's only lost 3 times this season.
Yeah, they're on a 2-game losing streak, man.
Well, no, actually, no, 2 out of 3, because they did beat the Clippers.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yes.
right.
So yes, yeah, they're
But
they're
everybody's,
reeling right now. Yes.
yeah.
Kurt, Kurt already with the will Adutiero be at the game, or is he waiting to get his SUV back? He'll be at the. Remember, he just got that e-bike from Luca, Kurt. So he'll be riding the e-bike to the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. So he'll be good. In fact, you can ride the e-bike really easily from the Lakers facility in El Segundo to. I've actually done that. I've actually driven from the Lakers facility at El Segundo, gone around the corner, made a right at the end of the street, take a little bit, pass by the Chargers facility, then you make a left, and then you go down a little bit, and it's just the Intuit Dome is not too far away, so he can do that on the e-bike that Luca gave him. So it's all is good, Kurt, on that. So he should be there, but yeah, it's not been a good week for the Nakuas, both brothers, to say the least. I'm thinking that both Nakuas are glad to have this week behind them. And I'll say that as well. Yes, Kurt says e-bikes and and DeAndre Ayton's mom's cooking. Lakers should be ready for tonight. Yes, I saw that video of how she got up at 3 o'clock in the morning to make food for the Lakers. Was it Thanksgiving food? I forget, but
I think
yeah,
so. Yeah.
I saw that video the other day issued out there by the Lakers. Wanted to go ahead though and mention something because it is trade rumor season. As you know, earlier this week, Michael, on Monday, 90% of the league is now trade eligible. The other percentage, a major percentage that's left, will be eligible on January 15th. Then after that, there will be just a couple select few based on what time they signed their contract will be available before the trade deadline if they do become trade eligible. But Tony, always great to have him on here. Says there's rumors that the Lakers won't trade R unless it's for Giannis. Do you guys think that's a mistake? Would you guys trade AR for a better 3-and-D player to fill out the roster instead of a star player? I will just say this. I don't know how much you can do as far as Austin Reeves because his contract is the problem. It's a blessing, Michael, and it's a curse because it is what
14 mil and some
yeah,
change.
yeah, 14 mil and some change. So let's say Giannis became available tomorrow, and the guys, I really think Giannis will not be a Laker again. I'm going to try to temper your enthusiasm on this because the realities are the Lakers just don't have the assets. In order to get Giannis, they would have to pair up 3 or 4 of their contracts, which is hard to do for 4-for-1 right there. Plus, you would have to give multiple first round draft picks, which the Lakers don't have. They only have one right now. So, logistically, if Giannis became available tomorrow, and even if he wanted to say he wanted to go to the Lakers, I just don't think that John Horst, the GM, wants to be put in that same deified position that Nico Harrison is. But I want to hear your thoughts on this, my friend. Um, if the committing to Austin Reeves, that's a tough one because Austin, it looks like he wants to go ahead and get some bank, and rightly so, whether it's through another team or whether it's through the Lakers. But if you commit to him, you're committing to a certain style of play and committing to certain faults that a backcourt of Luca and Austin have. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Do you commit to a player like Austin Reeves, who's playing at such a great level now, coming up this summer, or trade deadline, or whatever you want to do as far as it's concerned, look into a different direction outside of Austin Reeves?
Well, if you're going to trade Austin, you should not do it now. Simply because, like you said, you're not going to get value back. Who could we get? That's going to give us any kind of value for Austin. He's proven himself. He's probably going to be an all-star this year. Mm-hmm. He's just shy of 30 points a game. And plus he racks up assists, he racks up rebounds. So you're not going to get value for him. There's no circumstances that Giannis will be coming to the Lakers, especially during before next season. So Um, I don't know who you would trade him for. That wouldn't be a waste of value.
Well, I can tell you right now, that's Herb Jones seems to be the hot name on our show.
Yeah, but yeah. But do you trade an all-star for a role player?
That's what he is. That's the thing. He is much better defensively. Got 8 steals the other night. So he is, when he's out there on the court, a defensive presence. That it is not to be understated. But his shooting is all over the place. One year it's in the high 30s, what next year it's in the low 30s. So you don't know what you're going to get. But you're right. He cannot give you on the offensive end uh, that level of what you may be asking for on a lot of occasions. So when it comes to it, he has to be as elite on the defensive end as Austin Reeves is on the offensive end. And that's what you got to ask yourself. So that trade could work out because right now, before Herb Jones' extension kicks in, he is in the ballpark salary wise of what Austin Reeves is. So that matches up. But that's what you got to ask yourself when you sit down. Is Herb Jones, is his defense as elite as Austin Reeves' offense is right now?
Yeah. And then who's going to be? You spend Austin on him. Who's going to be your number 2 scorer? LeBron's not going to be around forever. He may not even be here after this year. Yeah. So offense is becoming more as the pace changes in the league. Scoring has become more important than it had been in the past. I mean, yeah, you still need defense, but
especially in the playoffs, it's about matchups and defense in the playoffs, and that's something that concerns me greatly about this Lakers team.
Well, the thing for me is that I just think the problem with Austin is I don't think Herb Jones is enough value for him. I don't think he's enough value for Austin. Mm-hmm. Now, if they threw some picks, well, they don't even have any picks because they've wasted a bunch of their picks.
Well, they're asking for picks, I would assume, for Herb Jones if they decide to go ahead.
Yeah, and the Lakers would be stupid to send any picks along with Austin. I mean, you make a bad trade even worse, in my opinion.
Well, as I'm telling Kurt right now, I was going to type it out. I'll just say it because he put in there. And it's great to have you here, Kurt. Happy holidays to you. I didn't say that to you before. So happy holidays to you, my friend. Pels already gave up Dyson Daniels. They got burned by that, and they don't want to make the same mistake. They are breathing a sigh of relief, Michael, because of the fact that Derek Queen, he may not be ever what an AJ DeBonsa or a Daryl Peterson or Cameron Booker might be, Cameron Boozer might be, but he is playing at a really strong level and is a top 5 candidate right now for Rookie of the Year. So he is playing well enough to justify somewhat that crazy trade New Orleans made over the summer. So they are breathing a sigh of relief. But I get what you guys were saying, that why would you want to trade a Trey Murphy and a Herb Jones when they're just starting in their prime right now, Michael?
Oh yeah, exactly. And yeah, they're I think last in the NBA, but they also have a whole bunch of quality players that have been hurt almost all year.
Yeah.
And you kind of wonder if they're thinking, you know what, let's just see what we got if these guys ever all get back, healthy again.
That's the thing in the Zion era. That is usually never
doesn't happen very often. But if they're going to move somebody, it's going to be somebody like him.
It's going to be Zion. I agree with you. That's the contract I would move if you and I took over their front office tomorrow. That might actually be a benefit for them. I would start with Zion's contract personally. That's what I would work on moving. I would move Herb. And I wouldn't move Trey because I think those are foundational guys for the future. I think those guys, if you're with the right players around them, can take you a long way. And that's
they're kind of like today's NBA archetypes, right? They're long, two-way players, that can defend. So yeah, I just think about, when Herb Jones comes up and people saying, well, we should trade for Herb, we should trade for Herb. I just think about what some of these other guys that are similar as far, as him got, they got teams got in trades, Mikal Bridges cost 5 first-round draft picks. What's his name from
Desmond Bain.
Desmond Bain. Yeah.
Although some of that was to give up for KCP because KCP has a really bad contract in the NBA standing right now. But you're right. For technically it was 4 picks, first round picks to Orlando. From Orlando to
it's just those particular types of players are becoming very, very, very pricey. Yeah, and I don't see, I don't see us being able to trade. There's the only guy that we might be able to get with what assets we have would be Keon Ellis from the Sacramento.
And if he becomes available, I think a lot of teams value him more than Sacramento does. So I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but he'd be the closest of that type of player, two-way player. But then again, how much do they remember Rob screwing them over with the when he reneged on the Kuzma trade? So Rob hasn't done the Lakers any favors with. I've heard he's like one of the least liked GMs in the NBA.
That would probably be saying, but Nico liked him. That's all.
Nico, Nico liked him.
Yeah, Nico liked him indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Lakers Weekend. It is Michael Heinrich of Lakerholics.com. Please go ahead and support their great site. They've been looking forward to having you there, being part of their conversation. They talk Lakers all week long like we do at Lakerholics.com. Did want to mention in the past 5 minutes, Dave McMenamin has tweeted out there that Rui Hachimura has been downgraded to out.
Oh, good. Jeez.
So it is looking more and more like a trap game out there. So I wanted to go ahead and mention that. So, indeed. I have not seen the Clippers injury report. I'm still trying to search for it now, and I've not seen anything listed as of yet. So they have not listed that. So when they do, hopefully I can get a better hold on. 18 hours ago, somebody said on Twitter that James Harden is off the injury report for tomorrow.
Of course. It's the Lakers.
Of course.
He might some of these guys might come out in a walking boot to play against the Lakers. It's just the way it is.
And again, the Lakers, sometimes I just don't get it. Okay, they had several days off. They had, okay, you could say what you want to say about the game against Utah, but okay, it was after in the second half, it really started to be never, not too much in doubt, despite what the Lakers gave back and reeled the Utah Jazz back in. I'm just going to say this. I just think that's, they have to look at what the standings dictate right now. Some of these guys have to start, with the groin pulls, the groin strains, the leg strains, what have you. They have to start focusing in on being available. This team has to start thinking about seeding heading into 2026 because seeding is still an important factor, especially in the West, my friend, with a lot of tough teams that they would have to face.
Yeah, I think the most remarkable thing about this whole season so far is their record with all the injuries that they've, all the time missed by important guys. LeBron missed 14 games. Luka's missed what now, 6 or 7? Austin's missed at least that many. So it's like Marcus Smart, 6, 7, 8 games, something like that. So that to me, and to have the record they have, that's been quite an accomplishment, I think. I would have been happy with their record if they had been fully healthy all year. Mm-hmm. To me, it's amazing that they're has this record and they haven't been. So,
absolutely. So I know, and I get it, Tony. I get it, Tony. It is load management. I understand that. We live in the era of load management now, and I understand that. But all I say is some of those guys better be healthy and ready to go on Tuesday at Phoenix because you know what? Dylan Brooks is the type of guy that remembers what happened a week ago, and that is going to stay with him until this next game against Phoenix. And I have a feeling they'll be ready and they'll be pumped. And again, with the Lakers, Michael, in this tough conference right now with, of course, the struggling OKC Thunder. You have Denver playing really well now, and that's with two of their starters still out. Or is Gordon? I don't think Gordon has come back yet, but two of their starters out for the most part for the better part of this month. And then you have also as well San Antonio coming off their confidence boosting win this past weekend against the OKC Thunder. And, although they didn't get the NBA Cup, they have gone on to continue to win games. So, and then Minnesota last night. Minnesota's back in the conversation with their victory over OKC. So again, the Lakers cannot have these lapses because of where they stand in the Western Conference.
Yeah, they can't. They have to keep on winning. The good thing about this current, I'll just call it, road trip, is that they have multiple days off in between each stop, and so it's not it's a 4-game road trip, but it has not been a grind. Yeah. Utah get a couple of days off, play Clippers at home, get a couple of days off, go to Phoenix, get more. What I look at sometimes, I look at the scheduling and I look at periods like this, and then I look at periods where there's long road trips, 3 games and 4 nights kind of stuff. And I'm going, why can't they fix it to where, it's like all or nothing. It's like you got abundance of time off, or they're beating you down on the schedule. It does, I don't know.
So I want to ask you this though, but I want to ask you this as someone who, again, Tom takes a lot of the air. I get that. Jamie takes a lot of the air. I get that. But I want to hear what I'd love to get Rob back on as well. I miss him. I know he said he's out and about for the holiday season. So wish him well. Hope he's doing well. Hope he has a safe and happy holiday season. I want to ask you this, Michael, and really get into it. What does this team need to do to focus in on winning at a higher level? I mean, a lot of expectations are now laid on by our audience because the start that the Lakers have had. Even beyond in many ways what Joe, myself, and many of the other panelists have as far as the expectations for the Lakers coming into the season. But we see the flaws on a daily basis with this team. We have concerns going forward, but what do you think the Lakers need to do? And do you think they'll do to go ahead to alleviate some of these current concerns to be more competitive in the playoffs this time around?
Yeah, well, I don't know about the playoffs. I know what they got to do during the season now. Wouldn't you just like to see what this team over a large sample size looks like without all the injuries? I mean, you look at it and it's just like, this guy's out, this guy's out, this guy's out, this guy's out. And we really have not had a long stretch of everybody available. I mean, a couple of games, maybe, so that's number one. I mean, you guys got to learn to play together. That's going to help, I don't like JJ's love affair with the 9-man rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see him expand that out and get some of the more athletic guys some run. We've got so much firepower on this team. We do not have to have every guy out there that can score. I would like to see them, use some of the.
Okay. No, I hear you. The thing is, I'll say this: Apple said the defense and shooting need major improvement. I agree. Lakers are one of the most Lakers are one of the, the statistics, if you looked at it on paper, Michael, and you didn't see the record. You didn't see the record at all. If you looked at just the statistics, they are not a friend of the Los Angeles Lakers
Yeah.
at this point in time, because the statistics would tell you, if you just went off of stats alone, that the Lakers are a team that doesn't do well in the transition. They shoot poorly. Offensive rebounds they don't do. They don't box out. They play porous defense, and yet this team is still finding ways to win. So that's why we don't play this on paper, and I get that, and I understand that. But and when you talk about a lot of firepower on this team, I think it's centralized for me with that starting lineup. I see this team
Well, that's
having
what I was
serious.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Go if you could speak more on that, if I could ask.
Yeah. I mean, they have enough scorers on the team to where they could integrate some of their more athletic defenders. I mean, I just look at what Vando did in 15 minutes the other night. All the rebounds, 6 offensive boards,
Yes.
blocks, shots, steals, disruption. He doesn't need to score a lot of points. He wouldn't be my choice to stick in the corner. I'd have somebody else stuck in the corner, put him in a different space. Although I think he's hit, 3 out of his last 5 threes or something like that. So
Which
maybe
would
that's
be
a
a
good sign.
vast improvement of what he's done previously.
Right, exactly. And give the youngsters, give do a little more run. See what he can really do. I mean, 3 minutes isn't going to tell you a lot.
No.
You
And
know,
I get that. And they have to. They have to start thinking about that, because and it is second rounders we are talking about here, guys. So I don't want to go and beat up Rob too much on that, because the fact he has found second rounders that have prospered. Max Christie is a really good rotation player now. As I had said, he would be a good rotation player. He is a good rotation player for the Dallas Mavericks right now. But Maxime Renaud is a player that they could have had just a couple picks later that they didn't get, and he is thriving in Sacramento, although it doesn't take much to thrive in Sacramento. So I agree with you. Let's see what Aduthiero has. I know he didn't have a summer league. I know he didn't have a training camp, but the time is getting closer to being, what do you have with Aduthiero? You have to start integrating him more than, like you said, that just cup of coffee every now and then. You have to see what he has, the Nick Smith Juniors, what they have. Also, as well, Drew Timme. Drew Timme is offensively gifted. Why not see what he has? Because firepower off the bench is something I think the Lakers sorely lack as well.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. You're talking about what do we need to do for the playoffs, right? That's exactly what we need to do for the playoffs. We need to give these guys some run, develop some of these guys. Even if it costs us a game here or there, they have to develop. And you're not, and I've seen enough from a dude to think that he's worth giving. He's going to make mistakes, and it's tough being a rookie on a team with high expectations. But if they're going to get over the hump in the playoffs, they're going to have players like him available, because he's one of the few really super athletes that we have. I mean, even Dalton, who he tore up the G League when he went down on that assignment. Give him a little more run, because you need trade chips as well. If you're going to make any kind of trades, you need to make Dalton look at least like somebody a team would gamble on in a trade.
Well, maybe that I was going to say this to Apple, because he said he wishes Dalton had played better and they really need his shooting. I mean, we talked about this on the post game the other night about Dalton. His defense was never going to be his calling card when coming in the league, but he out there, even the eye test, you guys, even with the eye test out there, will tell you he is one of the worst defenders in the NBA. So if he has to stay, if he's out there and he's at that level of a defender, Michael, he has to shoot 40% plus. He has to be like a Luke Kennard where there has to be a guy that's on him or else he's going to pop it from deep because he has to give you that. If he's going to be out there, he has to give you that. And this year he's not coming even close. He's 33% from
He
three.
shoots he shoots 50% in garbage time.
Yeah,
from
well,
three.
we've called him the garbage king before, but when it matters the most, that guy with the confidence that we saw last year early on in the season when he had those 2 30-point games that guy's not there right now. So I'm hoping that that game last week in the G League where we popped for 30, maybe he'll be able to take some of that confidence and be able to go ahead and get a stint where it will really start to, like you said, to help the Lakers, that it will help him look better, maybe more attractive to another team.
But yeah, like I said, I think part of the problem is JJ's love affair with the 9-man rotation. He seems to it doesn't seem to with all the injuries. There are games where he plays more than 9 guys, but he prefers a 9-guy rotation. And I mean, especially with LeBron aging, I don't see a reason why you can't incorporate a 10th guy, at least a 10th guy, into that rotation, and make it one of the athletes, make it a Bando, make it give Adu some run, but. They have enough scorers to where I think they can, through rotations, they can work in some of the better defenders and still be able to score the ball at a pretty decent clip.
But then right now, again, we saw last year, you laid heavy minutes on guys like Luka, LeBron, and also as well, of course, when he comes back into the lineup, AR, and doing so during the course of the season is setting themselves up for playoff failure, in my opinion. We saw it last season when the Lakers just didn't have enough gas to go ahead and face off against the Timberwolves in that situation. So finding some type of rotation, 9-10 man rotation, be able to shave off some minutes for Luka and LeBron at some point has to start mattering and has to become somewhat of importance going forward. And LeBron, who here in the next few days is going to be turning 41, he has to be particularly managed on his minutes going forward, whether he likes it or not, Michael.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. Another thing that we didn't have last year that we have this year is Ayton. Mm-hmm. He has been amazing. I love his game. I mean, the guy, you look at his shooting percentage over 70%, and you say, well, he's a big. Yeah, but he's a big popping 13, 15-foot jump shots and making every one of them. Mm-hmm. He's rebounding. He's getting, double-digit rebounds. He's blocking shots. He's been a pest inside. And so that gives me a little bit, like last year, that was our biggest failing last year was we went into that, that game with the Timberwolves without anything in the middle. And actually, Jackson Hayes has looked better than he has as a Laker this year. And I think part of it is because I think he put on like 15, 20 pounds of muscle over the summer. Mm-hmm. He's just looking stronger. And he's not getting pushed around like he once got pushed around. So, I mean, we've got some things that can, work for us. The question is, does it matter with OKC in the league?
Well, that's the thing. I think everybody's looking for this magical fix or this magical trade or this one player that could bridge the gap between what is perceived to be the difference between our team and a team like OKC, and even to Denver, who I think is right now playing really well and has to be considered in that next tier behind OKC in the NBA as far as whoever you rank these teams. And I'm just not sure that's it because Giannis is not coming knocking on the door. I think I think everybody who is fantasizing about Giannis with the paltry number of assets that we have is just they've got to get real because if Giannis became available tomorrow, there are other teams with a myriad of assets more than what the Lakers can offer. And even if he wanted to come to Lakers, again, you're not going to be that GM that goes and gift wraps another superstar to the Lakers and be
Yeah.
known as that individual. So it's tough, Michael. It's tough. Do you commit to improving this team to the point where they're more competitive in a playoff situation, but they're still not there? That's a tough question Rob has to ask himself as we get now closer and closer to hopefully what will be a heavy trading season.
Yeah, I really don't know what, like you said, there's no magic player out there that we could afford. And when you're talking about a guy like Giannis with his 50 million plus contract, we're just, we see what two $50+ million contracts do to roster building. So maybe LeBron steps down, but then Giannis comes in, and then you still have the same, you still have the same issues. The good thing about bringing Austin back is he's not going to make as much money as Giannis would make, and we can save him his
well, you say that, but he can
no, he's not gonna he can't even qualify for that kind of money.
Well, no, he can sign for a 5-year. I think we said 251. 5 for 251 is what he can sign for with the Lakers in the offseason. 4 for 180.
Yeah, well,
So
he
that's
probably
pretty heavy duty money for Austin Reeves.
He probably won't get that though. I mean, no.
I don't know
who else is out there that has that kind of cap space to sign him.
There will be 7 teams currently right now in the NBA at this point, from what most people are analyzing. 7 teams in the NBA that have cap space will have significant cap space this offseason before at the trading season, because there may be more that might take on expiring assets to get, they might give away their assets for expiring contracts. But as of now, it looks to be about 6-7 teams that will have there, and it'll be Trae Young and Austin Reeves as probably the marquee free agents heading into this summer.
Yeah, but
don't ever say that, my friend. Don't say that.
I won't say never, never. I'm just saying that I'm looking at, the landscape is changing in the NBA. It's really changing in the NBA, and I don't, I mean. People are, it always cracks me up when, somebody signs one of their own free agents for a vast amount of money when nobody else could have signed them for that kind of money. I'm going, what are you guys thinking?
When he was out there before.
Yeah. And nobody, I mean, the Lakers would have matched, but nobody and I think that's why nobody put a bid on him, is because they knew that the Lakers would match. So why waste your, but the good thing about Austin and his current because of his current salary, his cap hold this summer will be low. I heard somewhere around 20-ish million. So you can sign other free agents and then sign him on the back end of it. So that
but
will
again, what are you signing him for? I mean, if I'm his agent, and as Apple said, if he becomes an all-star, and he's playing like an all-star, he's going to want to see all-star type of money. I mean, Triple J, who Joe and I discussed, who Joe has said differently than I do. I think this is someone who's never met his full potential, similar to what I said regarding, guys like Rasheed Wallace and Robert Horry, who never during the course of the season played up to what I thought they could play with the kind of gifts that they have. But in the playoffs, they sure kicked butt and sure did it. And they turned it up when they needed to and when they had to. Triple J, I don't think has ever met the expectations and that his potential dictates, but yet he got a full max deal and full max ride with Memphis, and others that are kind of suspect as well as far as being that level of player have gotten max contracts. Austin Reeves could be in that territory, Michael. I'm just saying, writing off of what it potentially could be an all-star year.
Yeah, like I said, we'll have to wait and see because like I said, it's changing. The NBA is
Mhm.
changing a little at a time because of because of the harsh penalties for the salary cap and the inability to do much if you go into that second apron.
Mhm.
So I don't know. We'll see. I'm just curious to see what high level players are begin to get as we move forward. You know, uh, I mean, a guy like Luca, uh, some of the premier top players in the league are still going to get their money. But the second group, the all star level guys, are they going to continue to get max contracts? I don't know. You know, it'll be
Again,
interesting to see.
it's him and Trey Young, and as far as the
And
marquee name,
you were talking about Triple J. He got that contract a few years ago.
no, that's this past summer.
It was this summer.
It was this past summer,
Yeah. Well, that was a
and
stupid move.
yes, as it's looking out right now, again, he's cruising through the season and not playing at the kind of level that a lot of people are expecting, or at least in Memphis's case, paying him for. Indeed, yeah, Craig, great to have you here. Happy holidays, my friend. I agree with you. Especially the Lakers need to get younger, more athletic. Gets more shooting. What a lot of teams need actually, but yes, the Lakers definitely. But as you said, Pelinka has missed out on his drafting. I mean, the Lakers were lauded in the previous decade for, especially late, for the amount of players that they got in the draft, and early on, and in this decade, it hasn't worked quite as well as far as the draft picks that they've gotten. But I agree with Craig, but I am keeping my eye on some of these second rounders they're going to have, because if they're not going to give a Uthiero a chance, if they're bringing him along too slowly, or they're not confident in his abilities, it's kind of disappointing to see some of the players they have missed that have actually succeeded so far in the second round for the NBA right now.
Yeah, like I said, well, you mentioned earlier. I mean, he's kind of like LeBron. This is kind of his training camp period.
Hmm.
He just started playing. Just was just cleared not that long ago to play.
Hmm.
So I'm giving him some slack. I've seen him. I've seen him. I've seen the effort. I've seen the athleticism. I've seen the ability to stay in front of people. So that's all good. That's all good. Let's give him some run and see what he can actually do. Don't you know a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there, and one quarter in a game isn't going to develop him. And he's going to, yeah. And another thing that young players, especially, if they're playing with the anxiety on their shoulders of, God, if I make a mistake, I'm out. That's tough to play under. So let him make some mistakes. Let's see what he has. I
See
mean,
what has indeed.
we've let a lot of guys go that had it, and we let them go anyway. I mean, remember when Julius Randle walked, and he could have been re-signed for $12 million.
It didn't work out so well for the Lakers on that end, but they did get LeBron, who came in and helped the team, to win a championship. So again, it worked out, I guess you could say, for both teams, as far as for both the player to move on.
No. LeBron, I believe, didn't LeBron come in? I can't
I don't think they
remember.
could have hold. I think that was part of what, if memory serves, as far as what the Lakers had to go ahead and commit to. Although, like you think, they probably could have. They probably could have found a way to keep both those players, but
Yeah,
maybe they felt that they didn't want to with LeBron there. So,
yeah.
uh, Parade on Figueroa on Twitch. Great to have you back, my friend. Happy holidays to you. He says, "How much has the Lakers' success this season surprised you? Thank you for hosting, as always. Outstanding programming." Yes, Caruso as well, Apple. Absolutely. Yes, Caruso for THT. They were one of Rob's bigger faux pas, uh, is choosing THT over Caruso, and we saw how
And,
that one worked out.
and you know what? They didn't have to. They could have paid them both. It
Yes.
was a salary cap issue, but they
Mhm.
could have kept Caruso and paid THT.
Oh, you're always willing to, if you're willing to go beyond it for the right players, yeah, absolutely, you can do that. But The Lakers chose not to. Rob decided to go cheap, and there you go.
Yeah. Or
Blue,
Jimmy, one of the two.
yep, and Brooke Lopez at that time. You're right, Blue, as well. Imagine, and don't even get me started because he was in the room when Zubats was traded for Mike effing Muscala. And we'll see
Oh my
Zubats
God.
tonight for the Clippers as they face off against the Lakers. But before we go, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and touch up on this. So let me ask you this. I'm going to ask this Parade on Figueroa on Twitch. Ask this question. How much has the Lakers' success this season surprised you? I'll start with you first, my friend, because I've been very clear on it over the course of the past few weeks. How much has the Lakers' success this season surprised you?
Well, I think I mentioned it before, with all the injuries, it surprised me quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would have been thrilled with the record we have at full strength, to tell you the truth. Uh, there's other things that when you look at it, you look at what the West was like last year, but there's quite a few teams now that aren't very good that were good last year. And it doesn't seem like the West is as stacked as it was last year. I mean, the Clippers were a really quality team last year. They were very good. Grizzlies were a pretty good team last year. I mean, there's a lot of the Warriors have really fallen off, and they came on really strong last year towards the end of the year. So I think that, considering that the conference isn't as tough as I anticipated it to be, I still think I'm pleased with. Am I surprised? Yeah, a little bit. But I think that if we get everybody together, we can be a better team. Will we get past Denver? I'm not as afraid of Denver as I am of OKC. Okay, yeah, I don't know if there's any move that we can make this year, or even you start looking at the free agents available, and all of, that's another thing that you're seeing in the new NBA, extensions. Everybody that you think, oh, well, let's go after that guy. Well, they're signing extensions now. So, the only thing that's going to be helpful when it comes to OKC is that their salaries are going to catch up with them starting, I think, next year, and there's going to be paying a lot of money. And they say, well, they have all these draft picks, they can just, well, yeah, but draft picks don't always hit either. So
good point. We'll have to see. Again, Sam Presti has built a really powerhouse team with a myriad of assets, and we'll see if he utilizes those assets as some of these players, like you said, get more expensive in the years to come. We'll see how he continues to build around that foundational three, because I'm assuming that those foundational three are going to be the three that stick. It's everyone around them that's going to be moving and being shuffled in and out, whether through various trades or deals in the coming years. So we'll definitely wait and see. But I will say this again for my good friend Parade on Figueroa for today's game. First off, to answer that, I do think the Lakers will win, but it's not going to be easy. Just like
we're pretty.
Yeah, or pretty, because the Lakers have several players out, as you're seeing below. Rui Hashimura has been listed as out for tonight's game, alongside Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, and Gabe Vincent. Those four players in the Lakers rotation are listed as out for tonight's game, but I do think that the Lakers should be motivated anytime that they play the Clippers, and that they will go ahead and take the victory over a 6-win team. There is no excuse. I understand that this is a prime Jamie Sweet Admiral Akbar trap, but I do think that they will go ahead and get the victory tonight. But Tuesday in Phoenix, I think that's the one, with Phoenix looking for a rematch and Dylan Brooks trying to poke the bear once again. That's the one I think that might be tough for the Lakers. Although tonight's game probably won't be very easy as well. I have a feeling, because the Clippers, even though age wise, and I know that a lot of them have become washed, like Michael said earlier, I do think that they do have some pride, and that especially home after losing by 20 to OKC on the road, I think that they're going to have to provide themselves a little bit better game in front of the home crowd. So we'll see what happens tonight. But I do want to go ahead and mention Parade's question. I'm very surprised. I've stated several times on the post game, Michael, that I am very surprised. I'm a person, an individual. I picked the Lakers to be fifth. I picked them to be a little bit less successful than they were last season. To be right around 46, 47 games is what I had the Lakers, I think, winning. So this is exceeding my expectations that they're this high up, as high as second place in the Western Conference. They're right there in the thick of it, just behind Denver. So I see them at this level being very surprising for me because of what they have and what they don't have. They don't have athleticism. They don't have good shooting. They don't have any depth in the bench, or at least I should say they don't have as much depth as I would like. They still have one of the poorest benches in the league, even with the additions of Laravia and Smart. So I would still like to see a lot of those things addressed, but I'm not sure, Michael, if Rob will address it or if he wants to wait until the summer, because again, you have to realize before how many assets do I have, and how far is that gap between my team and a team like OKC?
Well, biggest problem is, do they have the assets to even do anything?
That's a question.
That's the biggest question. Now, I think that what could happen possibly is a contender losing somebody, losing an important player and needing to replace, at least bring somebody else in. You know, I was looking at some of the teams that would, for instance, be interested in Gabe, right? Mm-hmm. Pistons have no backup really for Cunningham. They have very little point guard depth. That might be a team that would want to bring in a Gabe, you know, especially if they had some injuries down the road. And they have the salary. They could absorb his whole salary and just send us a few second-round picks, which we could then in turn use for another player possibly. But I think that's maybe about the only way I can see, you know, because that second-round pick is enough. Let's face it, our swaps are meaningless. As long as you have, you know, Luka, you know, you're kind of guaranteed to be in the playoff picture, you know, so the swaps aren't going to matter to anybody. Well, maybe OKC with so many picks, they might trade us a first round for a swap or something, because they have way more picks than they can ever use. I think they have 4 coming up this next year.
As many, I believe, as 4. That depending on where things fall.
Yeah, as many as 4.
Yes, you know. It depends on the Utah, because Utah, I think, is top 10 protected, but that could still be a lottery pick depending on where things fall as well. So they could have up to 4 first-round picks next year. Again, a very advantageous position to be in for Sam Presti. So
you might end up swapping out. You know, taking one of the late firsts, maybe the last one, maybe their own first for a swap. You know, you never know. But as far as in season this year, I have very low expectations. I think it's going to have to come from the guys that we have, and more creative rotations, getting more, you know, getting Vando and Adu more run. Hopefully Marcus can keep up his hot 3-point shooting he's displayed recently. He's getting wider open shots than he ever has in his career.
And if he steps into it, you can see clearly then if he gets the ball and steps into it, he's clearly a more effective shooter than if he initiates the 3-pointer on the ball himself. So I really like
he's getting practice shots.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I could hit some of the shots that he's hitting. Seriously. I mean, some of these shots are so wide open that, you know, I could do it. So, yeah, I mean, his defense, it has been really good. And if he continues to hit a respectable amount of threes, he doesn't have to be hitting them at the same clip he has the last couple of games, but If he gets 35%, that's huge.
One last question before we go. It is from Parade on Figueroa. I will also make sure you get a chance to go ahead and plug Lakerholics one last time. Parade on Figueroa, again, with a final question. How much do you attribute the Lakers' early season success to JJ's coaching? I'll start with you, Michael, my friend.
Well, he's developed a culture for sure. I like that. These guys, one of the reasons why we're the top team in the league when it comes to clutch wins, in the last 5 minutes, is these guys play extremely hard.
Yes and no, because I know that Robert Wheeler gave me that question because he really wants. When Robert Wheeler, who's a guy on our post games who comes on our post games and sends us these one question, he always sends us a question that if it answers, it reaffirms of his belief of like Laker Tom level what the Lakers are doing. And it's just like sometimes you have to hit them with reality. A lot of these close clutch games have been because of the Lakers rubber band mentality during the fourth quarter. Like I said, they get these period and stretches and runs in the late third, early fourth, where they go up by double digits, where they focus in, and then they let off the gas and allow these teams to come in, like Utah. That clutch game by Utah, that will count as a clutch game by Utah. There's been 3 or 4 instances of this, Michael, where the Lakers let these teams back in to keep it close. That counts as a clutch game when it really shouldn't, Michael. And
Well,
some
yeah,
of that I attribute to JJ.
yeah. Well, I the thing my biggest complaint about JJ is, like I said, that his love affair with the 9-man rotation, even when you got a 41-year-old LeBron on your team, and you need more athleticism. We've got some athleticism that hasn't been getting into the game until just recently. I don't know. I look at Vando and I look at what he brings to the table, even if he's a negative on the offensive end. It's his. If you notice when he's in the game, when he is playing at the pace and as hard as he plays, other guys start doing that as well. Everybody else is diving on the floor. I think his energy is, infectious. And I don't know what JJ was thinking, when we need that kind of play desperately, why we didn't get it until just recently, So I guess that's my biggest complaint with him is that stupid 9-man rotation during the regular. I can see 9, 8, even the playoffs, right? But regular season, long season, guys, especially when you've had a team that's missed so much time with injuries. I haven't liked that.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to attribute a good bit of the success to JJ's coaching. Joe and I were on the fence with JJ coming into this season. And he still has the affinity of saying some pretty stupid things from time to time. I
Yes.
remember his comments right after the decision where he called out his own players for being stupid. That's something I thought was ill-minded, and of course, some of the things he said on his previous podcast, and I'll just leave it at that. But when it comes to what JJ does, he's not afraid to call out players. He's not afraid to talk smack. He's not afraid to let players know exactly what he needs them to do. And I like that for him. He's able to, obviously, he's done enough with the offensive end effectively to help this team win games. So you do have to give quite a bit of success or the credit to JJ in helping create this 19-7 team, which is exceeding many people's expectations. And it's also how, with what the roster that he has, can we best support Luka or make a best platform for Luka and guys like Austin Reeves, who's risen to a great offensive player in his own right as well. So obviously you have to attribute a lot of the success to him on that. there are some times where, like you said, with his rotation, but that's every coach. Every coach, I think, that every team has ever saw has been upset with the way they've utilized rotation. I think in New York, Thibodeau, they've seen how he
Did he
used
have
it
a
to.
rotation? Didn't
Yeah,
he?
exactly. His rotation was a five-man rotation, essentially. They're using more players now, and they're still winning at a higher level. Plus, their New York players will be more fresher going into the playoffs, which is obviously something that they like as well. But I'm just using that as an example. So I do give a lot of success to JJ. He still makes mistakes of a young coach from time to time, which is frustrating. I think he needs to find ways to help this team get a better killer instinct. Because again, a lot of these clutch games are due to the fact that the Lakers have been a rubber band team. They get up and then they just let these teams back in. This has happened on several occasions, causing these clutch games to happen in a lot of these cases. So he's got to figure out a way to find a way to get this team to be able to crush their opponents once they get up by 10, 11, to stretch that lead and keep it stretched out like the top teams in the Western Conference right now. OKC gets up by 20 on you, more times than not they're going to beat you. Denver gets up to on you by 20 in the fourth quarter, they're going to beat you. Same thing with most of these teams, and it just seems like the Lakers have the ability to go ahead and bring these other teams, no matter what level they are, back into the games, and that's something he has to find. Thus, their point differential, Michael, their point differential is not what a 19-win team should be. I really think he needs to find a way to go ahead and help this team find ways to go ahead and finish off their opponents more easily.
Well, part of the problem is they slip into this one-on-one mode where they dribble, one guy dribbles down to about 2 seconds, right, before they do anything. And that's, they stop playing the way that got them the lead. And that's kind of on JJ. He has to, they start milking it and trying to hatch it way too soon. And that, I think, is one thing that should be easily fixed. Stop giving the ball to Luka and having him dribble it for 20 seconds before anything happens. It puts they're leaving themselves 3 or 4 seconds for a good shot. If you got a good shot, and it's 15 seconds left on the shot clock, take the shot. If it's a good shot, take it, But they just seem to hold the ball, and that's been frustrating for me when these teams are coming back because, and some stupid mistakes. I mean, let's face it, Marcus Smart made a couple of really bonehead plays the other night.
But this is what you get. I mean, people talk about, why does Luka keep arguing? Why does Marcus Smart keep making those kind of mistakes? This is who they are. These guys have been in the league several years. Luka is going to argue. Luka is going to, do those things that make you angry. Luka is going to take a large amount of shots. I know it upsets a lot of people out there, but it just, these are the players who they are. Marcus Smart, he is going to play a dogged defense, but he is going to do some things that make you scratch your head. Boston Celtics fans would tell you that. But this is who they are, and you have to take the pluses with the minuses, but understand the players, who they are, and that shouldn't shock you at all. But again, with Luka, yes, he does take a preeminent amount of shots, but look at what you get in return. Somebody in the front row of Utah ticked him off. That set him off, and that got him really going, where you saw that's what fills his need, fills his drive as far as what as a player is concerned. So hopefully somebody in the LA Clippers front row will piss him off tonight.
It's kind of funny because, you look at like Dylan Brooks, and some of the other irritants around the league. Luka is an irritant in his own way. He likes to get in people's face and smile when he plays the opposing benches, after he's made a play or something, he'll look at them and point at them and laugh at them. He pisses people off too. It's just a different way than the guys like Dylan Brooks does.
And I agree with Apple. Luka is not shooting the three with the efficient level that I would like to see him this year, but he's shooting up a ton of. It's just what you're going to get with him. This is who he is. And in order to take the 45-point triple doubles, you're going to see him go 4 for 14 from three. I don't like it either. I do not like it either. And I would ask him to give up some of those threes to other opportunities for other players, like Rui, who was invisible for a great part of that Utah game, for example. And he's so efficient from three. But unfortunately, Michael, when you bring in a Luka and you get a chance to get the guy who is right now considered by many to be third place in the MVP voting, this is who you get.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind too, with Luka, he is one of the main reasons why Marcus Smart is taking practice shot threes because he draws so much attention. I mean, he's constantly drawing double teams, and that's why some of these guys are wide open. I mean, why is Rui shooting at such a high level? Because he's wide open, and so, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. Yeah, he jacks up some unfortunate shots from time to time, but he also opens up the entire floor for everybody else. So, I mean, that's one of the reasons why Austin's had so much success, attacking the paint, because they're focused on Luka. So, there's the good and there's the bad. You got to take the good with the bad.
Once again, it is Michael Heinrich of Lakerholics.com. It's so good to hear from you, my friend. Wishing you and your family the happiest of holidays and merriest of Christmases. And the fact, again, I gave my best gift to you, which was no Tom in one ear and no Jamie in the other. But big shout out to those guys. Love you much, guys. Hopefully those guys are doing well. Know that they were busy, traveling and doing other stuff this holiday season, which prevented them from being on the show today. But before we head on out, my friend, as a great ambassador for Lakerholics.com, please go ahead and enlighten everyone exactly what Lakerholics.com is all about.
Well, Lakerholics.com is the home of the unlikely or impossible trade scenario. If you want to see trades, that could never happen.
Giannis for a second rounder.
Come to Lakers. No, I mean, it's a good site, and there can be some lively discussions on there. I like Gerald says, I kind of am in the middle there. But everybody, whether you agree with some of Tom's takes or not, he always writes a really good article. You may disagree with it, but the writing's good. So I always compliment him on the writing and then knock his trades. But and Jamie has, Jamie's, Big Five is usually well thought out. So there's some good things, and also Tom is really good with finding posts from around the league, just to keep you informed of what's going on. You can kind of go there without having to visit a lot of other sites, because Tom will probably have found the interesting article and posted it for you. So
there you go. And again, a lively discussion always. Between not just the crew, but also as well your guys that support your site. I see a lot of people there that come by and start that conversation. So guys, if you stop by our channel, Lakers Fast Break, you stop by John's channel, Lakers Corner, you stop by Joe's stuff at Joe Soro Experiment, please go ahead and also give Lakerholics.com a try. You'll be glad you did. Be part of the conversation today at Lakerholics.com. Michael, just fantastic here being with you, my friend, on this holiday season. But any last thoughts before we head on out?
Well, it's been great. I didn't have to wait to talk. So
that's why I thought you would enjoy it.
Yes, yeah. No, it was a nice time. Happy holidays to everybody, and go Lakers. It's going to be tough tonight, but I agree with you. I think they'll pull it out.
There's no excuse. You're playing a 6-win team. I don't care if it says the Clippers or whoever on the front of the jersey. You have to win tonight against
Exactly.
these teams, especially with where San Antonio, Denver, and OKC are winning right now, and also right behind the Lakers right now with what's going on in this. As far as what we got, Minnesota now with 18 wins, just behind the Lakers. You've got Houston right there as well. So yes, it's very tough in the West. You have to win these games, and we'll see if they'll do so tonight. But don't forget, after the game, I'll be here going ahead providing the post game. Hopefully Joe, hopefully John, hopefully you guys out there want to stop on by, please do so. It's the world famous Lakers post game as far as for the Lakers fast break against the Lakers and the Clippers. So we'll go ahead and let you know what went on in the game and our thoughts on the Lakers as we head into the holiday season. Wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays from Lakerholics.com and all of us as part of a great Lakers holiday weekend right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Aloha.
Aloha.